Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sea.
Hi, welcome to be my guest. Today we have from Shrewsbury, Walter Rice. And Walter is a holistic spiritual counselor. He has a lot to share with us. Welcome, Walter.
Yes, I
read about you in which was the article? Where was
Worcester
that?
Magazine.
In the Worcester Magazine.
I was there about maybe 3 weeks ago.
You have a whole lot to tell us. You started out as a priest.
That's exactly right. It'll be now 44 years ago. I left the ministry, and I was in it for 5 years. My first parish, I was a Roman Catholic priest, and my first parish was South Grafton, and then in Shrewsbury, right across from Whole Foods, where it is now on Route 9. So.
I know the one in South Grafton. I
St.
used to live there off Cross Street.
Yes.
And I know we used to go over
where
to
the fire department is.
Yep, I remember going over there. What a
Yes.
nice, even the food pantry where we'd help with the food pantry.
Mhm.
What a great place.
It was a good place. I enjoyed that place too.
Yeah.
It was good to me.
So what happened from there?
Well, from there, when I left, then I got my first position at the Glavin Regional Center, started going to school at Assumption College to get my master's in counseling psychology, and got my certificate of advanced graduate studies. And at that time, the licensing for social workers didn't exist, so it just started, and I got grandfathered in, and I started working in the hospital system, also at Memorial, Hubbard, Harrington for 13 years, then at Fairlawn Rehab.
Mm-hmm. How about
for-
UMass? Did you go there?
Well, UMass wasn't connected with
They
it
were
yet.
not with Memorial yet. Now, of course, now they are.
Yes, it is,
Yeah.
yes. And so I did a lot of work with patients who had spinal cord injury, brain injury, fractures, amputees, and so on, So.
And you really, so from there, what you kept going.
And then from there, I worked in a couple of a nursing home and a couple of visiting nurse associations. And then I started doing volunteering at the Shrewsbury Senior Center, doing Reiki. So I learned about Reiki during this whole time span because I had seen that medical science, which I go to a physician every year, only is concerned about giving meds and surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to look at the whole perspective and looking at other healers. And so I went to various places, down to New Mexico, California, to London, to study about various different aspects of healing. Shamanism, Buddhism, energy medicine, tuning forks, in various different points, acupressure points, and so then I started. It's been about 25 years I've been doing this practice.
And so it's called the Holistic Healing Services, and you are over in Shrewsbury. How can people get a hold of you?
Well, all you have to do is you can contact my telephone number, which is 508-450-4230, or either hook up with www.holistic-spiritual-counseling.com, or look up Walter Rice online too, so you'll find that.
So you have a lot going on. You're volunteering at the Shrewsbury Senior Center. And
No, I work. I work 3 days a week there too, besides doing this.
Now, so you're working there, plus you have your own business.
Private practice, yeah.
Where do people go for your holistic service?
It's in my house. I have an office, a very large space down in the basement, and which I've helped to develop and provide those aspects of helping people to deal with ancestry issues, of helping to heal their pain, connect with their family members, helping them to provide spiritual counseling. My motto is, how do you stay grounded and manage your stress, on this earth? Connect with some higher source, become friendly with yourself so that you can cope with a lot of the craziness that's out there, too. So, so that's sort of how my perspective is.
I like it. It's almost like, what they would say in Al-Anon, like detach from the craziness around you and keep the focus on yourself.
Yeah, know how to take care of you, because oftentimes either religion, society, parents, tell you to, think of others, don't think of yourself.
That's how I was
okay?
raised. Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And
so
that can
what-
be dangerous stuff too.
Yes, and we take on their burdens, okay?
Mhm.
And how do you let go of those burdens? And because they don't belong to you, they belong to them, okay? So I share a mantra which I learned from a very, very wise individual, and it goes like this: I now dissolve and relinquish all negativity, direct it towards me, and return it back to its source. And I return it back with complete unconditional love.
Mhm.
So I share that with a lot of people for them to do that and look at their eyes in a mirror and say that 3 times in the morning and in the evening, and with the power of intention of helping to release and to let go, you see. And for me, pain is a gift, because pain, when it rises, most people don't like it. And what can you learn from it, and how can you grow from it, and what are the lessons? The other piece I've been doing now is, and been teaching too, it's called mindfulness meditation.
Oh yeah, I know over at UMass I once went to their class up there. John
Yes.
Kabat-Zinn, right?
Yeah, I did his program about 15, 20 years ago
Yeah, yeah.
At Worcester.
What'd you think?
Oh,
It's kind of crowded in there. I don't-
well,
For me.
yeah. I did a clinical internship with social workers,
yeah.
and then not more than 2 years ago, I did a refresher course there. And yeah, that's the CFM, Center for Mindfulness. So
Yeah, definitely.
I go there, matter of fact, every Monday night. They have a free support group from 7 to 8.
At UMass?
At the CFM on Maple Ave in Shrewsbury. Okay?
Center for what is
Center for Mindfulness.
I haven't heard of that.
It's now where it was in Worcester. Now they moved it over to where the Worcester Foundation used to be,
Yeah.
where they founded the birth control pill.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And now that the Center for Mindfulness is located on that campus there. Okay.
Huh. So
Yes.
now, do you have classes in your home?
Well, classes, no, I don't. I do one-on-one, okay, with an individual, or I do with a couple,
Mhm.
and depending upon what the issues are, okay, so.
So you've
Oh.
always enjoyed the spiritual approach in life.
Well, I've incorporated that a whole much. What I've been doing all these number of years is learning how to walk my talk, rather, you know? Because often people say lots of stuff,
Oh, yeah.
but they're not walking it, you know, and it's easy to say things cerebrally. But I feel that, helping people to get connected to their heart and connect with them intuitively, and that's my approach.
Do you get the word out a lot when you're working over at the senior center? When they hear about what you do they come to you and say, I would really like to deal with this?
No.
No.
At the senior center, I teach mindfulness meditation, okay,
Yeah.
and also I do one-on-one for them with a variety of other issues. I deal with people, 70, 80, and 90 years old, and dealing with, issues about nursing home care issues, connecting with family members, adjustment as to, elder documents and so on, and those.
You have quite a story. You have come. It's almost like you've had one incarnation after the other.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey. So I do see life as a journey. So it's one
You
day
should
at
have a
time.
book, a memoir,
A
definitely.
memoir.
Definitely.
Oh,
Definitely, that
putting
would
it
be.
there, okay.
That would be. We're talking with Walter Rice, and he is at the Holistic Spiritual Counseling. He has his own place in Shrewsbury where you
Yeah.
can go, and you were a Catholic priest.
Right.
And how long were you a priest?
5 years.
For 5 years.
I studied for 8.
Which seminary did you go to?
I went for 2 years up in Orchard Lake, Michigan, outside of Pontiac, and another 6 years on the campus of St. Bonaventure University
Where were you raised?
in Worcester. I'm from Vernon Hill,
Oh, okay.
up there. So I went to the Catholic church school, St. Mary's, which was Polish and German,
Yeah.
and St. Mary's Church, also known as Our Lady of Częstochowa, the Polish church there. So.
Did you know he's a very popular talk show host on WTAG, Jordan Levy. He grew up on Vernon Hill. A little bit older than you maybe, but he grew up on Vernon
How
Hill.
old is he?
Well, I don't see you as I see you as a baby boomer. You're not past
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I am.
You aren't.
I am.
Well, he
I'm gonna
would be
76, so.
He might be 74.
Okay.
All right.
I got a couple years over him.
Well, he doesn't need. Well, you look great. I mean, what
Oh,
that
great.
spiritual healing that you're doing is wonderful.
Okay,
You look
cool.
great. So, what's your favorite part of it? Helping the other people cope.
The favorite part there is helping people to get connected and to be strong enough and to make a commitment, because you know you got your issues of when you were born, all the shoulds, musts, and have tos that have been directed by either your parents or the lack of bonding or being bonded too much, okay, stressed out there, or taking on the pains of the family and the ancestors, of helping to recognize that whole piece. And so I do a process which has becoming more familiar here in the United States, called Family Constellation. And it's developed by Bert L. Hellinger out in Germany, okay? And I started learning about that when I went to London, and also here in Belmont for about 4 or 5 years with a couple. And so that helps them to just see what the facts are. Because you see, the mind only has 2 dimensions, the past and the future. And you've got the memories and the expectations. Hard to be in the moment, present moment, you see.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are just stuck there. Of help them to, realize that, you got both. And a lot of people only want to deal with the happy moments and not the difficult ones, so.
I was reading a book about different, things like being an empath. I'm not talking about
Yes.
being reading minds, but too empathic for one's own good, taking in other people's feelings,
Yes.
and learning not to do that.
And how do you take care of yourself?
Yeah.
That's what I mean, that when I said I now dissolve, when you meet certain people sometimes, you need to say that and give it back to them, because you're taking on their energy, like energy is connecting with us here as well. So.
Yeah, you have to almost learn to put a block up if you're around too much of it. I think they say that people who are empathic have to get off by themselves a lot just to regroup, because they've taken on so
you need to how to take care of yourself, and if you don't do that, you burn out. Just like with many professions, I think a lot of nurses, doctors, or other people like that who take care of a lot of people take on their burdens and don't know how to just stand on their own. And so
Well, you're dealing with people and their feelings all the time,
yes, I like doing that. Yeah.
and you're able to regroup and walk from that one to the next stage.
Yes, because oftentimes when I meet with people, oftentimes I know I'm feeling good, and all of a sudden I feel strange, and it's either anticipating someone coming, or I'm in the presence of someone, or after they leave, and then I have to connect with that in order to just let it go too. So
Do you have a lot of people who come in with severe depression to you?
there are many people who are in, say, therapy and on meds, okay, but they're looking for something more than just that, okay,
Yeah, definitely.
and another dimension, another aspect of the whole piece. So from my perspective, there's the personal pain, there's the whole family pain, and there's all the pain from the countries where you've been born, or the religions that you belong to, okay,
Yeah.
and that they impart on us, and they all have a definite effect on us,
So you welcome all religions, not just somebody that was Catholic. You everybody.
I don't deal with religion,
Good. Yeah.
so that's my issue.
Yeah.
I just deal with the spiritual component of the whole piece. And what you're going to find today is a lot of therapies are including religion into
Yeah.
their process too. So,
What do you think of that?
I think that's very good, but my approach is a little different. So,
What's the hardest thing that you find somebody come to you, and the hardest thing to deal with and help them with?
Well, I think everything that they come with is hard. It's the hard part that as to whether they want to change, make a commitment to change, whether or not they want to go forward. I come from a period of time. Maybe you've heard it. You can't teach an old dog new tricks,
Mm.
and so I think that's fully none of that's really real, because learning how to relax, be in touch with the breath. Evidence-based showing that creates new neurological pathways for the brain today by learning mindfulness meditation or other practices too. So there's a lot of good reason. But everyone has their reasons to either stay stuck
Mhm.
or either willing, to find what their destiny is, what's their purpose for being here. you see, and that's an interesting piece.
That's a difficult thing to think about. I mean, I wouldn't have a clue what mine is, really. I've been through so many things.
All right. Well, somehow or rather you're in service for people,
Yeah?
and I think that's the biggest one of how one can be of service to other people, you see, too.
So that's what you're doing, too.
Yes. So even though I left the ministry, I'm still in service for people in a variety of so many ways. And I think even people who are not, say, having the positions like we have, that they're at home connecting with their grandchildren or their family members, connecting with them, they are of service too, you see. And just letting them know that they love them and that they're there. Not to rescue them, but they're there to give options, okay? So that's an important piece.
Do you deal with many people who come in who are estranged from their families?
Oh, yes, very
Oh,
much so.
and the sadness, especially if like grandparents from their grandchildren?
Yes.
That's, oh.
So what's the interesting thing from my process too is how can they get in touch with that little girl now? And so maybe their families are not alive anymore, of how you come to nurture that little girl, that you now are the parent, and how you do your parenting. And that's an interesting, healthy process too. So.
Definitely. Walter, how can they get a hold of you again?
Well, they can get a hold of me again, either contacting my website, www.holistic-spiritual-counseling.com, or look under Walter Rice, or call me on my cell phone, 508, my business phone, 508-450-4230.
Walter is a holistic spiritual counselor. He's based in Shrewsbury. Now, you work at the Senior Center in Shrewsbury.
Yes.
What are the classes that you have there? Are they open to everybody?
Oh, yes, that if you want to come for the mindfulness meditation, that's every Wednesday from 1 to 2. And it's free, no cost. And a lot of people have benefited from it. All the people that are there generally have certain degrees of anxiety or other issues, and very helpful.
Wednesdays at what time?
1 to 2,
1 to 2.
yes.
And they just go right to the Senior Center.
Just go to the senior center, say that I'm interested in going to the class. You don't have to sign up, you don't have to call.
That's amazing.
Located at 98 Maple Ave, to the right of the town hall.
Yeah, it's a big building.
Yes, it is.
And then,
It's
yeah,
a
like
good
you
one.
say, yours is over on the right, and it's beautiful. I think you have a pool. Do you have a pool table in there?
Yes, we have pool table, television,
Library.
there's books. The library is at the other end of the town,
Yeah.
on 140. So
That new library is something.
yeah,
Yeah.
very, very nice.
Very big. The
Uh-huh.
only thing I have a trouble with is when they're trying to teach a lot of us they do it at Worcester Library too. You don't, I'd rather go to a person and say, here's my book, you check it out. They got that thing where you can, when you bring a book back in, you can or you can,
I find that a little
and then
amazing.
and if I have a bunch of books I want to take out, I still go to the desk. They're used to it because I see
Good.
people lined up at the desk.
Yes, I always went to Elm Street Library when it was in Worcester at that time.
I like the Worcester, I haven't been there in a long time. It's huge.
Yes, it is.
It's a
I
very
agree.
huge one.
Yeah.
Now, Walter, so when they come to your home, are there variable hours that you would be available?
Well, all they have to do is call me, and I try to set up an appointment that's comfortable for them, okay?
Yeah.
And that's workable for both of us, and that's how it goes. And there's just a flat fee, no insurance. All my services are at a fee of $60 for that, and it's a time frame is an hour and a half
Mhm.
when I sit down.
How
with
long do
them.
people usually like to come for how many times, weeks?
Well, it's contingent as to where they're at, and my whole focus is not to create codependency, so that they're dealing with their pieces, and so it's just a matter of talking. They're the ones in charge, not me. So
I like that. This was a great picture of you. Were you standing in front of like a,
yeah, a table.
yeah,
The table, and it had what's called a dodecahedron,
what's
12-sided geometric sphere.
Mhm.
And you lay down on it, and underneath are speakers up here, and hook to a CD, and you get what's known as a vibrational massage. And because what they've come to realize, we have called cell memory.
Mhm.
Cell memory of where we come from goes into our cells, and oftentimes we do things not knowing why we do things. And also, most of the time, we're on automatic behavior, and that we respond to. So it's one of being in touch with that experience also. I do Reiki. I'm a Reiki master too, and I provide that, or put sound tuning forks on their acupressure points. And oftentimes many people will go into an altered state of connecting with their source or what they need to know. And so it's interesting.
You mentioned massage. I've noticed that there are people who, well, myself, I love, if I could afford it every doggone week, I would do it. It's very expensive.
Yes.
But then there are some that I meet, not a lot, who don't want to be touched. What is with that?
Well, my personal feeling is maybe they've been abused, okay?
Yeah.
And they've been hurt and or violated in some way, and there's problems with their body, and so that's just my first impression.
Do you ever work with patients who have surgery coming up and are really, really nervous? They come to see you maybe for your mindfulness class or to see you personally at your holistic
Well,
center?
when I was working in the hospital system too, I worked with many people who, with adjustments to illness,
Yeah.
adjustments to surgeries, before and after, and I did support groups in the hospital systems too. So.
I think that's great. There are an awful lot of people out there. They don't talk about it much, and I I'm getting over it, but they don't mind the procedure. They don't mind what they're going to do for the surgery. They don't want to be knocked out.
Yes.
Boy, I grew up with a father who was like that. It rubbed off on me.
Okay.
What do you think of that? Trust? Is it a trust issue, or what is it?
It needs to be along that pathway too. One of my pieces is that expect the unexpected and trust the unknown, and that's a hard one to trust the unknown.
Hard,
you
very.
see, because most of the time in our head we want to dot all the the I's and cross all the T's and make sure everything's right in place, and that creates a lot of anxiety and what is it? Being narcissistic or whatever terms you want to use. So I don't put headings on people just to hear them where they're at. Definitions.
Like if I have surgery coming up, I'm going to be on my computer endlessly researching what they're going to do, what it's all about. So I'm kind of prepared. And some people don't care. They'll walk in and say, I don't care.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are just trusting the surgeon and the physician.
Yeah.
So, and the other piece, they're trusting their higher source.
Their higher power.
And the guide.
Yeah.
And they say prayers.
I trust the doctor. It's not. The process does not. I could go in and they could. Well, I was awake for 3-hour major surgery. They were putting my ankle back together, but I chose to be awake.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. But most people look at me aghast, and they say, "I'd rather be asleep." That's odd to me. To me, it's odd. Why would you put yourself through being asleep when you can you feel no pain, be awake?
Well, maybe the after effects too. That the body feels and experiences from the medications too.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah. Depends upon their.
What's in your future? Do you have anything else planned?
My future? My future is I take one day at a time.
There you go.
Okay.
We were just talking about that too, the past and the future.
I find that people who are a lot younger have a little difficulty with that and awareness, but as you keep growing, because you got, being born and at that point of getting older, you see that it's a whole lot better just taking one day at a time, I think.
There you go.
Walk that talk. So.
Walter, again, how can we reach you?
Yeah, again, I'm Walter Rice at 508-450-4230 or www.holistic, HOLISTIC, -counseling, spiritual-counseling.com. Be glad to help you, or we can just chat over the phone and give you different options. And
that sounds great. That sounds really good. I'm glad for you. I mean, do you miss being in the priesthood or no?
To be honest with you, no. Yeah. I'm very happy. I've been married. My anniversary's coming up soon, and I got 2 adult kids.
How old are your kids?
My son just had a birthday of 38. My daughter's going to be 39. So I got married when I was 33. See, so.
What a story from the priesthood, all to where you are now.
Yeah.
And then you went to college. You did something else too. For your business, didn't you have another job too for a while?
Another job.
Was it all into the holistic? Or-
Well, someone there had suggested to me, hey, Walter, why don't you become a counselor?
Yeah.
So I started becoming a counselor while I was a priest,
Yeah.
but then I realized I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And so then I continued my journey at Assumption College, hooked up with Glavin Regional Center, got an advanced graduate degree, got my license, and so on.
Amazing. You have
Mhm.
quite a story to tell. Thank you for being with us.
It's been a pleasure.
All righty. We'll see you next
You're
time
so
with you, I
nice.
guess.
Thank you.